It's always fascinating to see like an actor revelation of someone like a Kristen Stewart and Spencer level performance, in my opinion, that's just like, wow, this is just a great acting performance that I didn't know I could get. And there's quite a few of them in this. I'm gonna highlight one. I recently watched The Iron Claw. This is a biopic about the Von Erich brothers, and mainly the family as a whole. They're one of the first big wrestling families in the early 80s, and basically what had, like, the tragic story of what ended up happening to them. When it comes to wrestling, I don't really know the history of it. There was a time where I watched WWE quite a bit, like in the late 2000s, early 2010s, like when CM Punk was still in WWE. I think I specifically remember checking out of that era when CM Punk was around leaving. So you can you can date that to when I really wasn't interested anymore. So that appealed to me. Another thing is that A24 is putting this out, and especially with them, there's a chance that they could be going a little more mainstream now. Of course, they've announced a bunch of different projects that could burst into the mainstream, which is a whole different video, which I'm thinking about making if I'm being honest. And it really feels like there is a lot of these movies where they can, like, specifically sports biopics, where sometimes they don't land for me. And a lot of them just go in one ear out the other, mainly because I'm not too into sports that much, at least not anymore. And The Iron Claw was that pretty big moment for me where I just realized I might have to get back into wrestling, because mainly wrestling history, because I want to learn more about this stuff, specifically about what was actually omitted from this movie, but I'm gonna talk about that later. This movie is an emotional drainer from both like the tragedy and triumph aspects. I mainly think Zac Efron, who plays Kevin Von Erich in this, does such an incredible job, and he is the Kristen Stewart in Spencer level acting moment that I mentioned earlier, and he is just so good in this. This could have been a much more showy performance from him, but the more quiet moments from him, and just, you know, like looking off in the distance forlornly and forlorn. Is that the word? I don't know. I bet you know what I mean. But either way, just it's such a quiet performance that I didn't know that Zac Efron had in him. So I just really, that was like a great revelation almost. And I hope that this is the I hope he squeaks in the best actor race at the last minute, because I think he could win, and I want him to win if I'm being honest. Pretty much all the supporting performances are fantastic here too. Harris Dickinson, Jeremy Allen White, and Holt McCallany, as well as Stanley Simons, who mainly play the brothers. Holt McCallany plays their father. They are all really great, especially Stanley Simons. I don't know where he came from. This is the first time I've seen him in something. I want to see him in more things. He's pretty great in this. Maura Tierney shows up in this, little less than I thought she would be, and I wanted to see more of her. I think that's a very underrated performance when it comes to the conversation around this movie. I also really liked Lily James in this too. It's nice to see her be in another movie. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen her in something, so I was very glad to see her in this movie, as well as be pretty great in it. I also think the writing and direction from Sean Durkin is pretty fantastic. I'm actually going to show this because they showed a little bit of it in the trailer. There is a shot in this of Kevin Von Erich bouncing from the turnbuckles that they show in the trailer, and it is a beautiful shot. Might be one of my favorite, like, little moments of the year. That whole sequence that scene is in is actually one of my favorites of the year. Just, if you see that here, it's a beautiful shot. There was actually quite a few things that ended up being cut from this movie, and, well, mainly not cut exactly, but not included. There was another brother. I should have looked up his name, but professional wrestler MJF, I think that's his stage name. He played him real quick in the movie, and is actually a producer on this movie, but he was not included in the movie, and I ended up looking up what happened, and it would have just been another sad thing to add on top of this. And I understand, although it is very weird, like cutting things out of a biopic that were going on in real life. So that is very much like a decision on you. I don't think it affected the movie, but it was interesting to see that this got cut out. But yeah, I think The Iron Claw is one of the best movies of the year, and also like a fantastic look at how like how masculinity can, well, I guess for lack of a better term, can be toxic, but also like affect your family and how really how you live and treat yourself, and like, you know, stripping it down to your core self. And I think Sean Durkin did an incredible job showing that. As I said earlier, Zac Efron is incredible in this, and I think Harris Dickinson and Stanley Simons are the other standouts in this. In terms of other A24 movies, since they've hit that cult status of, oh, I think I'm gonna rank the A24 movies, I guess I should mention that I think this is a top 3 A24 film. This is like up there with, like, you know, the uncut gems and maybe even the lighthouses of movies like this. And just, if they are going to go mainstream and this is the one that breaks through the mainstream, it couldn't have happened to a better movie. The Iron Claw, I'm going to go with 5 stars on this one. This is like really incredible stuff. When I saw this in the theater, there was like a lot of dads with their kids here, so I wonder how they felt about this. Is this going to be like a new dad core movie? I don't really know how that's gonna work.